a lot of new people and to introduce this show to a much larger audience, as we do a lot of things this year to try to expand the show and its reach and the topics and everything. Going to be infusing a lot of things into this, as we always do. But that's been good. And the fact that it's been, birthday week, a pretty significant one. I just submitted my essay to the Quite Frankly Bulletin, which will be published on Monday, the 7th. So you'll be able to read a little something that I put together today about this birthday in particular. And I hope you enjoy it. It felt good to write it. And it always feels good to write something that's not radio format, because I really do still have a dream of either, writing consistently for one of our own publications or writing a book. Really should definitely do that. But, time is what it is, and I'm surprised I do as much as I do. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have some leftovers that I think still have a lot of juice left in them from Tuesday night with the things that have quietly disappeared over the last 10 years topic, as well as a mix of news from Idaho adopting a death penalty for child abusers, Trump's suggestion that he could be president until the 2030s, which it's hilarious. I just can't wait to do that. And then plenty of time for calls and improv. I have a lot of things. It's going to be almost like a bigger grab bag kind of a night, but there's something else I'm going to do. I'm going to be opening up the hotline, which of course at the moment is powered by Skype for the last time ever. The Skype phone numbers are going away on Monday the 7th, so it won't be here Monday night. I'll get another phone line and whatever. I'll have a new designated hotline number. I like having more than one line, so it's a good way of filtering the audience categorically, so that you can do interesting things on a show. I like having that as a utility. But tonight is the last night for that, and we'll talk about that and other reflections. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves as we are now heading into the big show. So sit back, relax, and share the show. Whether you're watching live or on demand, hit the share button wherever it is and bring people in for the ride. It's Friday night. It's time to kick back, relax, have a laugh, and of course, call in. The numbers will be posted on the screen, and also you can send super chats to quitefranklysuperchat.com. There are the Rumble rants on the Quite Frankly Rumble. There's the gold pills on quitefrankly.tv, which is powered by Foxhole. And yeah, I will talk to you in just a moment.
I was there at the Battle of Normandy. They handed me a gun and said, "Do you know how to use this?" And I said, "Listen, I'm rich and I've got a lot of friends." They shot me many, many times in the groin. And after that, I said, "This is substantial. This is tough." The Nazis were very nasty. I called them nasty Nazis. And they shot me a lot of times.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's roll!
All right. So how's everybody feeling? How you doing? You all smell terrific. You do. April 4th, Friday, 2025. Greetings to you all. And you know what? Before we really get into it, tell us where you're from. Spam the chat with your location, your state, your country. You don't have to give us your address or anything too personal, but where you're from. Show everybody where the show is reaching tonight. I always think that's great. Spam it in there, baby. And then, yeah, here's the first show, the first couple of stories of the night. Obviously, you can take your notes and you can write whatever you want down and call in on it. First one up is from the office of the governor of the state of Idaho. Governor Little's statement on death penalty for pedophiles. Boise, Idaho. Governor Brad Little issued an expanded statement today on his signing of a House Bill 380 last week, allowing the death penalty for pedophiles charged with aggravated lewd conduct with children 12 and younger, and strengthening punishments for other convicted pedophiles. Quote, just like capital murder destroys lives, aggravated sexual assault of young child devastates victims and families for generations. The sexual abuse of children is sickening and evil. Perpetrators convicted of these crimes deserve the ultimate punishment. Idaho just became the only state to make death by firing squad the primary method of execution. I commend my partners in the legislature for strengthening Idaho's already powerful tough on crime reputation among the states, Governor Little said. Very nice. Very nice. I'm sure that there's been plenty of people who have already written to the governor's office to say, can I join the firing squad? Can I join? How can I help? Meanwhile, Utah is having a hard time coming down on ritual abuse. That's crazy. Then again, how many states have actually gone out of their way to do that? The fact is that they brought that into the legislative process out there, and they presented a bill that is oddly specific. Then I guess you have to get oddly specific because it's an oddly specific crime. But anyway, Idaho, good job. What can you say? I like it. Here's another thing for you. Now we're moving from there to weather. Live floods turning deadly in Kentucky as child is swept away in high water. A dual threat weather disaster is unfolding. This was earlier on today. As severe thunderstorms and flash flood turning deadly across part of the central United States, and more storms and rain are on the way. There's been a lot of this going on lately, too, again with the tornadoes. You know what I was watching? The other night, Lauren went to bed a little early, and then I put on this documentary that was uploaded to Netflix recently about the hurricane in Joplin, Missouri. You remember that from years ago? This is one hell of a documentary. I was watching. I mean, there's some stuff I'm just like, all right, it's Netflix. They just can't help themselves. It's a documentary about tornadoes, and they bring in stuff. Anyway, I have got to get Hunter Fowkes back on the show as soon as he watches. I already reached out to him and said, did you watch this yet? I'd love to talk to you about this one. Just some crazy stuff. The other thing about Joplin is, and I remember because that might be, I forget how long ago it was. I don't know if it's 10 years, a little bit more. I forget totally. I just watched it the other night. But I also remember the threads that were popping up on the internet about the people who were having some sort of like paranormal experiences during that that tornado in Joplin, Missouri. They're called the butterfly people of Joplin. And, those who are a little bit less inclined to believe that stuff like that is possible say that it's just mass hallucinations and it's happened before. Others are wondering what exactly they saw. Is it Mothman? Is it Mothman that tends to crop up around disasters? But then again, these butterfly people of Joplin were supposedly helping people. They weren't necessarily being in any way, shape, or form threatening or whatever. So obviously there are those who say angels. A lot of children who agree on it. They weren't in the same room. They all say the same thing. I think that would be, I know Hunter wouldn't be able to comment on that. He's just a meteorologist and a storm chaser. But perhaps we can also bring that in there, especially if anybody out there in the audience, because I know we have quite a few people on this in the audience that's from Missouri. If you experienced that storm system, were you in there? I mean, it's devastating. I remember back then, and this documentary puts a whole new perspective on how insane it was with the footage that they collected, cell phone footage, whatever. It was just whole place got flattened. So I would love to do a little bit of that, and we'll see when that happens. Hopefully soon. It's gonna be, I told Hunter, whenever you watch it, let's get you back on. Here's another one from Missouri to Kansas, though. This is a little bit more recent. Listen to this crazy shit. Kansas child says that a monster was under their bed and a babysitter finds a man there. So there wasn't a monster under the bed, but there was a man living under the bed. The man once lived at this residence, but had since been ordered to stay away from the property under a protection from abuse order, the sheriff's office said. A scene straight out of a horror movie, a babysitter in Kansas was checking for monsters to reassure a scared child and discovered a man hiding under the child's bed. Now, how old is this kid? Let's see. The babysitter said one child she was babysitting complained there was a monster under the bed on Monday evening, the Barton County Sheriff's Office said in a release. She tried to show the child that there was nothing lurking underneath, the release said, but ended up coming face to face with a man. Can you imagine? For everybody. Not the man, to hell with him. But for the babysitter and the child. My gosh. My gosh. It makes you wonder how many times a child says there's a monster under my bed and something's actually there. Now, it's a little bit harder to hide a man under your bed every night. But what if there's something else? Hope no kids are listening to this right now. She tried to show the child and then came face to face with a man. The babysitter and a man got into an altercation, and one child was knocked over in the struggle. The sheriff's office dispatched to the home in the 2000 block of Patton Road, just outside the city of Great Bend, around 10:30 p.m. on a disturbance call. The suspect was identified as Martin Villalobos Jr., 27 years old, who once lived at the residence. However, he had been ordered to stay away from the property under protection from an abuse order. Can you imagine that? He's been held on a $500,000 bond. That's just nuts. That's nuts. He left. He ran away. He was spotted by law enforcement the next day. My gosh. So there you go. Monsters under the bed. Do you have any stories about that? Did it actually turn out to be something other than nothing? Write it down. Call in. Because you want to know what we're going to be doing tonight. Like I said, it's been a big week. And we're ending it with something pretty big too. And that is 18 years. It's essentially been 18 years of using Skype to take calls on air. Me, Anthony, and Mike were using Skype back in the day. There wasn't, for a time they didn't assign you phone numbers, but still we'd say, hey, Skype in Zadalza Radio Show at gmail.com. Just search that email address and get on with us. And then came the day that you can get phone numbers through Skype. But we've been using Skype in one way or another for at least 18 years. And it's all coming to an end tonight. All of the technological issues, all of the ringtones that have been haunting me. I know some of you are actually probably upset that the Skype is going away because there's going to be one last thing in my life that frustrates me. Because for some reason, me being frustrated is entertaining to you. Well, guess what? Things change. I got a new boom stand that doesn't run away from me. And we're getting rid of Skype. Well, Skype got rid of itself. They ruined it. I would have kept it around, but they ruined it. They didn't take themselves seriously. They absolutely just gave up trying. Couldn't even put in a ringtone mute button. But tonight, the hotline, which will be up in the second half, 914-369-1236, 914-369-1236. Hopefully the next number could be 6969-6969. Can you imagine that? And I'll be taking crazy stories. We're just going to call it the Crazy Story Hotline. If you've got a monster under the bed story that turned out to be something more than nothing, like, oh, that wasn't just my imagination. There was something under there. What the hell was it? Something was in your closet. Who was it? Who was in your closet? Anyway, the Crazy Story Hotline will be up later on, okay? That doesn't mean the 5,000-year-long Crazy Story Hotline. Just come in and tell the story, and that's it. It's a quick pitch. It's like going to a flea market. Anyway, That's what we'll be doing in a little bit. Now, here's the Trump story I wanted to get out of the way, because I just think that this was, to think of this as a possibility, and actually in my mind, using my imagination to watch it play out in my imagination, is just hilarious to me. Because he floated it out there, which means that somebody has been researching the subject. Somebody has been researching the subject matter for him, and he's been tweeting about it, or on Truth, or whatever the hell it is. He has paid reference to the fact that he may be able to stay in office longer than 2028. All right? And now you say, oh, you can't. The 22nd Amendment, FDR. FDR was the last one. Well, take a listen to this. This is from the Daily Mail. Revealed how Trump could be president until 2037 due to a simple loophole in the Constitution. Okay, here it is. The path for Trump to serve a third term and potentially a fourth until January 2037, when he would be 90, is not only possible, it's simple, thanks to a glaring loophole in the amendment. Okay, and I'm going, here's the only section that matters. The key phrase in the 22nd Amendment is, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. It is argued that means a twice elected president would not be barred from later resuming office due to the resignation or death of another president. Trump could therefore run for vice president with Vance as an openly recognized nominal figure at the top of the ticket, and once he is sworn in, Vance could then resign, allowing his vice president Trump to step into office. The same procedure could be used in multiple elections. To win a fourth term, Trump would simply have to resign the presidency before the 2032 election and become the running mate of a nominal presidential candidate, be that Vance or someone else. Listen, I had a good laugh. I had a long, hearty chuckle as I was reading this the first time around. Just to imagine that happening. And would that be unbelievable? Would it be unbelievable that we would be around at this point in time to see something like that even attempted? Because what are you going to do? There's no way in hell there are any congressional majorities that would be able to amend the Constitution, especially in a, expedient way. There's no way in hell. There's no amending of the Constitution that's going to be done. You don't have the numbers. It's not like just passing legislation. Okay, it's not like passing a bill into law. It's not that easy, as you all know. We could talk about that one night, but all you need to know is it's not possible. So, does he have the balls to try this? Does he? I don't know. All right. Well, that all out of the way, I had something here. Here's an April Fool's prank. Krista Roman, the editor-in-chief of the Quite Frankly Bulletin, sent this my way. April Fool's prank that somebody's son played on the garbage men when they came to grab the garbage on Tuesday morning. I thought that this was pretty funny. Watch this garbage bag over here on the right. Here you go. That's hilarious. So the kid he ripped open a garbage bag and he covered himself with it. So when the garbage man pulled on the knot on the top, it just revealed a boy. He was just jumped out at him. I wonder if he said April Fools. I guess it doesn't matter, but that's hilarious. I hope they have some rapport with that guy, or else there's going to be problems. You don't want your garbage man not liking you. Okay, I learned how to treat garbage men a long, long time ago. First of all, my grandfather was a garbage man, so he knew all the garbage men that was coming to the house when I was a kid. So they'd stop by, especially on hot days and whatever. Everybody would have a beer, and then they go back on their route. So back then I learned, hey, you want a drink? You want some water? You guys all set? Tips at Christmas, whatever the hell it is. And only then can you dress up as a garbage bag and scare one of them, and it'll be all right. I wouldn't pull it otherwise. So that's just one thing. Here's another little terrible trip down memory lane if you want to go there. And tonight, I am just for a second. COVID-19 was declared a pandemic 5 years ago. This was as of yesterday, April 3rd. And here's a little bit of a thread of all the crazy things, some of the crazy things that we saw just happening. There you go. There is the long-distance baptism with a squirt gun, which I always thought was obscene. They filled in the skate parks with sand. I remember this one. Just insane. Insane. People exercised in pools behind plastic barriers. You know, around here, some of those barriers are still up in small ways in certain restaurants. Many of them came down because a lot of them fell down. It was just so cheap and ridiculous looking. But I think about this stuff. So everybody, there you go. Aquatics class, and there's a little bit more on that. Here's another one. They put a strip club. You don't need to see this picture. Strip club in the parking lot, and you can just walk through or drive through and watch a stripper outside straddling a pole with a gas mask on her face. Very, very Blade Runner. What are you going to do? I don't know. Here's another one for you. Fast food employees were outside and they had to wear plastic bubbles. See that? Outside. You want your contactless fast food. Outside, they have to wear little tents. Oh, there's more. There's more. They placed circles on the ground and demanded that no one else enter your circle. This one was in some office space somewhere. So it's as if cubicle life is not demeaning enough sometimes to then say that this is your little force field and don't come out of it. That reminds me of every Biden rally in 2020 as well. They decided the barricading of 2 square meter areas was the best way to attend outdoor events. Look at this. Look at all these cows. Look at all these cows in their pens. Crazy. Now, of course, all the people you're with, you're breathing all over. But at least that's germs. At least that's airborne death coming from someone you know, right? They carried hula hoops to avoid catching the virus. Because the hula hoops, some people did this. They strapped it around their shoulders and they let the hula hoop just fall by their waist and create a little bit of an equator around them. And that, of course, would be an adequate buffer to keep all the virus baddies away. They required children to wear masks, especially for band events at school, but then cut holes in the masks so their woodwinds would be able to get through to meet their lips. There's a lot of this. And you can't say, no, this was tongue-in-cheek. Oh, sorry, it's not tongue-in-chink. Even though, COVID. I don't know what the slip of the tongue. I don't know what the hell I'm talking. Anyway, there was, it's tongue-in-cheek. No, it's not tongue-in-cheek. They're trying to at least cover up the nose. All right, here you go. I love this one because some grocery stores still have some of these decals on the floor, and that is the one-way walking signs. One-way walking. That you can be kicked out of A&P if you walked the wrong way down a one-way aisle. Because as you know, viruses only travel in one direction at a time. You want to mix anything up there. Just know the flow. All right, here another. They refuse to sell you household items to stop the spread of viruses. That would not be good. Oh, yeah, well, they didn't want to sell you medication that stopped the virus either. They refuse to sell random electronics and self-care products to stop the spread of the virus. That would be bad. They closed garden centers and refused to sell seeds to people to stop them from, because they didn't want you going outside. Going outside and growing a garden would be bad. That would be bad because you're outside. The isolation of the unvaccinated, we can go on and on about that. I can't believe it's 5 years already. People were fired for not getting the jab. There's a woman holding up a sign, last year's heroes, this year's unemployed. Yeah, many such cases. In some cases, surfers were arrested for violating restrictions in California. I remember when Adam Carolla went after Gavin Newsom for this. And then forget about all of the footage coming out of Australia. That's just, it's just the things that we saw. Now, it's crazy that it was already 5 years, and then it's also, how it wasn't that long at all. It was so long. Catatonic shock, man. Catatonic shock. That was no doubt a part of it. All right, really quick, we're going to go on a quick break, a little breather. When we come back, I want to get a little bit more of leftovers from Tuesday out with you because I got some great emails from you guys about the disappearance or the reappearance of bugs. Don't go anywhere.
The best part of waking up is quite frankly in your cup. Sup, Frank? Thinking of you guys. Love you, Pip.
Oh, shit. All right. I suck at sports, so I would be that guy that's like, no, I'm a girl. And I fucking dominate. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know. People are just weird. You're allowed to be weird, but I don't have to agree with your weirdness. I think I look at trans people the same, like I look at, like if I was at a bar with my friends and a dude showed up in a vampire outfit, I would be like supportive, you know? I'd be like, hey look everybody, it's a vampire! And then he would sit down and I would like call him vampire all night. But if he was like, no, I'm really a vampire, then I'd be like, alright dude. Now you're fucking being weird. So, that's my stance.
The ladies in my life over here at the studio, we were talking about things that over the last 10 years have in many ways disappeared, and perhaps not a lot of people have noticed it, but you've noticed it. And we got a lot of really interesting stuff that came through. And just to recap a little bit, here's some of the answers that we got. Bigger overarching questions about just our mental state and all of that. And that is the ability to be bored. Are people bored anymore? Owning things. Everything's a subscription now. Someone said, soon I'll be renting my socks. Many have noticed that bugs, insects are disappearing along with many birds. Rachel Carson's silent spring is happening. Human habitat disruption and species favoring dictates much of the change. So we were talking about that in particular. I have a couple of emails on bugs I want to read to you. A couple of the people here, butterflies and lightning bugs or fireflies. Plain old common sense, says someone. Physical maps. We were talking about maps and atlases. Someone said the average kid being athletic enough to do a push-up and run properly. Cash. Is cash going away? They're sure trying. They are sure trying. Someone said that the stars are going away. Well, you can always see the stars, but yeah, I mean, the closer you live to a city, there's a lot more light pollution, a lot more than ever before. Privacy, retirement, kids playing outside, gentlemen and ladies. The concept of being tacky. Problematic Will called in from Texas to talk about shame. Where did shame go? You know, there's a lot. There's a lot on that. And I wanted to leave this open to you guys because there's still more. There's still more that you can say to that. First of all, like I was thinking about this here too. Customer service. Customer service is dead. I'm sure you can still get great customer service. You know where there's always good customer service? In a Cracker Barrel down in the South. Anytime we go down south, like, you know what? I want that. I want the sourdough French toast for breakfast. Let's go to Cracker Barrel. There's always just really pleasant people in the I just want to go to Cracker Barrel, walk around until people notice you and say, you need anything? And then you make a friend and you talk for a half hour. You know, and I'm not even talking about just human customer service relations where there's any kind of any kind of care with people. Let's just even put aside people who care about their customer service jobs and actually care about helping people. But I'm talking about just there's less and less humans working it at all. And I guess we could have predicted that was going to happen. Chat bots, automation. I mean, we've been dialing through to get help to avoid having to get on a long line of human operators for a long time now. So dial 1 for this, dial 4 for that. That's been happening for a long time. It's actually pretty analog, but it's just crazy now. So, I mean, most of the services I use actually have no customer support at all. They just have forums. They have frequently asked questions sections. There's that. What's another thing? Taxi cabs. There's still the yellow cabs in New York. It's a novelty. They have the medallion system. There's definitely some financial reason for it. There is a government backed. So that's always a situation. But when you think about taxi cabs or even the delivery guy, now a lot of local pizzerias, they have their own delivery guys still. You can call up the local pizzeria, and they'll usually have their delivery guy going out and making the rounds. But other than that, the delivery guy, by and large, is now the Uber guy. I don't know what restaurants around me actually have their own delivery people anymore. I think a couple of diners have a guy that delivers to about like a 2-mile radius on a bicycle. But other than that, most of the restaurants around here, if they take delivery, they're just using Uber or what's the other one? Seamless or something like that. Grubhub. So delivery guy that belongs to a restaurant is gone for the most part. Taxi cabs, it's all Uber. So you can call in on that because I'm trying to remember other things that I was thinking about after the fact. But listen to this. Listen to this. This is from Debbie. It goes back and forth. Debbie Young says, "Good morning, Frank. My husband and I have also noticed a dramatic absence of bugs. Florida had 2 love bug seasons. I drive across the middle of the state often via Route 60. I always came to each coastline with my car looking like a chia pet, covered in the unfortunate carcasses of hundreds of love bugs. The absence of these bugs is alarming. I wonder what happened. We have also experienced an intense amount of geoengineering, which has been cut back since the state and Governor DeSantis have taken action against the practice. I love your show. Much love to you and your family, Debbie Young." So she's saying that in Florida, love bug season is non-existent. This one is from Nate. Nate says, "Frank, I drive a 2020 Ram, and I live out here in Indiana. We still have the bugs, but I was looking at my truck after work yesterday, and that thing is very aerodynamic." The truck, I have to imagine. The 2020 Ram. It's very aerodynamic. I wonder if that's why the bugs aren't getting on the windshields anymore. Well, I understand it's less boxy. Like when I think about my mother's, I don't know, what was that? 92, 93, 94? Something like that. The Explorers. They use Ford Explorers for those Jurassic Park trucks that from the first movie. You remember the green and the yellow ones that went through the park that were all torn apart by the dinosaurs when they came out? Those were Ford Explorers, and I think that was close to the model that my mother got. She had an all-white one. I was in the driveway with Anthony when she drove home, pulled into my grandparents' driveway, kind of like hobbled up onto the driveway. She pulled in, but she just like, I remember she looked at us and she put her hands up in the air like she had won something. She was driving it home for the first time and she was just stoked. And it looked like she was 5 miles up in the air. If I saw a Ford Explorer from like 1992 or 3 now, I don't know maybe they still would look high. Probably not. I was a child. But I remember just, everything was pretty boxy back then. Still, maybe it's the windshield. A lot of the windshields are a lot more 45 degrees, or not totally 45 degrees, but a lot there is a lot more aerodynamic there. But the grill, for the most part, even if you have a 2020 Ram, you still have a pretty wide grill. If it's not crashing into your windshield or anything else like that, you'd think that the very front of it, there's nothing whipping those things over the top. But he was wondering, aerodynamics has definitely made an impact. It definitely has. I won't take that away. Now here's a little something on the Mayflies that came in. Remember we had the caller on Tuesday night that was talking about there was this one bridge somewhere in the Midwest where the Mayflies would come in and they would pile up in the roadways in such a way that a certain night or a certain week during the year when these things were just hatching all over the place, they would need snowplows to come through and push them all over. Well, I got an email about Mayflies, and this is disgusting. This is from Joe Jan. Joe Jan wrote into me. He said, Frank, the Mayflies, they are attracted to light, and their larvae can have big hatches from the river. And I hate the use of the word hatch now. Gross. Here, she sent a picture, a video. Take a look at this. Look at the lights. It looks like there is a blizzard going on. It's all Mayflies. Look at that. That's not snow. Disgusting bugs, that's what it is. Look at that. Incredible. Makes my skin crawl. Frank, they're attracted to the light, and their larvae can have big hatches from the river. All bridges over the Mississippi and St. Croix, at least up to the Minnesota and Wisconsin area, turn their lights off. All the bridges turn their lights off so that they don't have to plow the mountains of dead flies off with snow plows before the morning traffic. Wow. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Living in this country, in this union. If you live in Minnesota, Wisconsin area, that's what you know about your region, your regional culture. That's your country right there. That's an experience you have that is very uniquely yours. That if I showed up there right around the time that this happened, I would think that it was some kind of biblical plague, and I had arrived in Minnesota and Wisconsin area right in time for, I don't know, something terrible, something supernatural that I've been waiting for the whole time. So they turn their lights off on the bridges around this area so that I guess that these flies don't congregate there and pile up, so they don't actually have to use those plows. Mountains of dead flies off the snow plows before the morning traffic. They don't even survive through the whole night and are absolutely fish bait. Like our caller was saying, that they're dead within 24 hours. After a big hatch, you aren't catching a single fish because they will all be full. They also make a really disturbing pop sound when you step on them. The videos of a hatch on Mississippi River at a lock and dam number 2 in Hastings, Minnesota a couple years ago. The locks are open 24/7 and locked towboats are all throughout the night. The Mayflies crawl all over you, so keeping lights to complete minimum is a big deal. I've seen a lot of deckhands on the barges wearing bug nets like they are a beekeeper. That's incredible. Let's look at that again. So that's from one of those hatches. All of these things die within 24 hours. And that's another thing that you just learn, I guess, if you're living in the area, that you're not going fishing for a couple of days because the fish ain't coming. They're not going to be responding for a while. They are sleeping after Thanksgiving feast. They're eating all these things. And then you're going to eat them. Crazy. The popping sound, though. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the rhubarb. I found this. I found a minute and 30-second long. I don't know if they have the popping sounds, but have you ever heard the sound of rhubarb growing? So rhubarb is grown in the dark. And I think the most traditional way of growing rhubarb is not only in a cool, kind of like a damp basement, but by candlelight. And that forces that forces them to grow to maturity very quick. And they grow so quick that if you put like a condenser mic inside of the room and you put the gain up, you can hear all this squishing and popping as it's growing in real time. Like you've got you've got it on fast forward or something like that. Anyway, I found what I hope is a illuminating 1.5-minute video. Rhubarb grown. I got a special video here. I picked a good one. This guy's trying to spank her with a rhubarb. Don't rub another man's rhubarb. That's how they grow them in the dark so that they can reach maturity in a couple of weeks. So just so you know, if you ever if you're ever planning a romantic night, bring your woman to the rhubarb cellar. Candlelit rhubarb cellar. Oh, very nice. Good stuff. I actually really like strawberry rhubarb pie. I like it with like a crumble top. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But you can go and you can find the popping sounds, and it's crazy. It is crazy. Okay, well, the lines are open. 914-200-0269. In a couple of minutes, we're going to break for the halfway point, and then when we come back, we're also going to incorporate the Crazy Story Hotline, and I hope some crazy stories come through. You know, another thing that was burning through my mind. We're at the Yankee game the other night. We're talking about things that about in particular cotton candy. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's take a call. 828. Who is this?
Frank, it's Rob again.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I got nothing. This has nothing to do with your show, but when I was growing up in college, there was a public access TV show. Maybe you need to be really drunk when you watch this, but it's called the Merrill Howard Kalin Show in 1992. And it's about like a disabled guy that's cooking chicken and making salads and stuff.
Oh, really?
It's really kind of funny.
Hold on. Give it to me again. Merrill what?
Merrill Howard Kalin, Kalin show. It's on YouTube.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one that's about a half hour, but I don't know. Like I said, we would sit around. We were all drunk at the beach, just laughing our heads off. And I don't find it as funny now because maybe I got to be more politically correct, but it's just, I think the guy died quite a while ago, but I thought I don't know, it just popped in my brain. I thought I would share it with you.
All right, hold on. Okay, well, let me look at it. Hold on. Thank you for the call, Rob.
Yeah.
All right. You know, it's funny. I want to do here, Merrill Howard Kalin, part 1.
Tear the skin off. Tear the skin off. And like this. Then you see it was okay.
Let's go to the most watched.
Next, you cut in the ends. So good. Let's see Milk cut the ends off of this. Cut off the ends. Cutting off the ends. Look at this. So good and tasty.
He would be viral. He was just doing this at the wrong time. That's the only thing. He'd be viral. Now, it's funny that Rob called in with this suggestion over here because I have it in my notes to do a best of public access television. I want to do the best of public access television night. Oh, that would take a couple of episodes. It actually could be just a recurring bit. Because the best thing about public access television is just, especially when the calls go off the rails, when they take calls and not just all that the classic, Richard Christie calls and Richard and Sal calls from Howard Stern, but there's just so much more. There's so many great things. Then we can get into, Spirit of Truth. Oh, there's so many things. Public access television. It is just it treasures what have been recorded and maintained on VHS for so long, and then were immortalized on television. We got to do it. This guy made me think about what's his name? Oh, Pasquale. I used to watch Pasquale with my grandmother. The Pasquale the cooking show. Whenever he started singing, we would laugh. My grandmother would laugh. We'd have such a good time when he would start singing to the food.
Ciao, I'm Pasquale. Welcome to my kitchen. Flour, mamma mia, pizzeria. No, I have the crew that run. One run here, one run there. You are wonderful. You have to be prepared. Thank you very much. Yes. 12% or 18%. If you put in a boiling broth or soup, cold milk, you're going to make a ricotta. Now, you're going to break them up, curl them up. So, we have the veal flank. I don't cook lots of the veal flank steak or even a beef flank steak. So, but tenderize so.
Oh man, this brings me back. You know, he said in one episode, because I was looking for episodes of this years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I was looking for. That's the last time I thought about this. And he broke out into song again as he's just, cooking everything. And he was telling the audience that, I sing to the music, I sing to the food. It makes the food happy and it makes the food better. And, some people might think that that's just cute, but that's quantum physics right there. That's like quantum sciences right there. That's alchemy. Okay, he's blessing the food. I mean, to sing to the food, and it's the reason why you pray over your food. It does something to it. Thoughts are things. They impact water. How many times are we going to talk about messages in the water and all that? And so I just thought that was so intelligent and probably went right over the head of everybody watching at the time. But it might go over right. The science and the things might actually went over his head too. You just sing to your food. You make it happy. All right, let's take another call. 541, go ahead.
Yes, hi. Is this Frank?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
It's Renee, or last Mimsy online.
Hello, Renee. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a quick little story about something not under the bed, but a little creepier.
Okay, go ahead.
So when my siblings and I were little kids, we would play hide and seek throughout the house, as most kids do. And my sister was it. We were all hiding, and she ran into my parents' bedroom and said, "I found you." And we're all like laughing. We're like, "Who'd you find?" And then somebody was in my parents' bathroom, and they jumped out the bathroom window and left.
What?
Yeah. We were like, what the hell? Yeah, just a bunch of little kids, us little kids all running around. And yeah.
Where did you live? It was just like do you have a suburban area, rural, urban?
Yeah. At that time, yeah, I lived kind of what they considered the East Bay of California.
Man, and you guys are just playing hide and seek around the house. Somebody goes to check into your parents' bathroom, and there was a stranger in there who was, trying to make his escape because he heard you guys coming?
I guess so, because the window was already open, I guess, and he was going out the window when my sister said, "I see you."
Well, who did she think she caught? She thought she caught one of you guys?
She thought she caught one of us.
Yeah, but obviously too big to be a kid.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Was anything taken? Was it a home robbery?
Don't really know.
My gosh.
We never did find out. When parents got home, we told them about it, and I don't really remember. I was so young at the time. I was probably 6 years old or something.
Wow. And so you guys were home alone, just taking care of yourselves at the time?
Yeah. I mean, we ranged all the way up to, I have siblings who are, 5, 6 years older than me. So.
What did your parents say when they got home and you told them the story?
My dad started searching the house over.
Wow.
But little late, but well, Frank, we came from the era of the latchkey kids. We get home from school, the key was hidden, we would go in the house,
Yep.
and then mom would call. We had a signal. We didn't answer the phone the first time. She'd call and then hang up, and then call right back, and then we knew it was her. And she'd make sure that we all got home.
Well, I'm happy everything worked out, but yeah, you're right. I mean, that is just as crazy as a monster under the bed story. I mean, that's nuts. Well, thank you for calling in, Renee, and leaving that with us.
You have a good night, and I'll be continuing to watch the show.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. And call in or email, whatever the hell it is, stay in touch. Wow. She wasn't kidding. That's something else, man. What was I saying before? About things that went away and all that. Cotton candy. The cotton candy that spun right in front of you. I'm sure it happens in some places. I haven't seen it. All of the parks I've been to, the carnivals I've been to, the sports stadiums I've been to, cotton candy is pre-bagged now. This popped up the other night with me and Lauren. We were talking about cotton candy. I don't know how it actually came up, but it got around to me saying, I don't think I've ever finished a cotton candy in my life. That it's just one of those things where, and we were also speculating whether or not Aurora would actually like it if she tried it. And I said, I bet you any money she doesn't, because Aurora doesn't really like sweet stuff. She likes ice cream, but most candy she doesn't like. She doesn't like soda, anything like that, because it just, when you haven't been given it, and you haven't, this is what you're drinking, juices and sodas and soft drinks and all that stuff. Whenever she tastes it, it's too sweet, Dad. I'm like, fine by me. Now listen, I didn't necessarily like it ever when I was a kid. I liked funnel cakes. I like pizza frites. But I didn't necessarily like cotton candy, but it's one of those things where I would get it every so often, only because if for no other reason than they were spinning this out of nowhere. They were spinning this out of nowhere just for you. This shit congealed magically out of thin air on a little cone. Just for you. That's pretty cool. I always loved that about cotton candy. Now, once it was formed and stuff like that, and they hand it to you, then you're just like, I don't know. Have you ever eaten a whole cotton candy? Have you gotten down to the little paper cone in the middle and not completely regretted it? You can call in and let me know, because whereas I've enjoyed a couple of bites, I don't think I've ever finished a cotton candy. It was just always too much. But it's just irresistible as a kid. This thing is just congealing out of nothing. All of a sudden, it's just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, imagine me and it's just there. Damn. All right. Well, anyway, now it's all in bags. And that totally takes away any kind of allure for the thing now. So just throwing that out there, and who knows what comes back. All right, it's 8:00. Let's just get right into the intermission. And my friends, when we come back, I'm going to be reading through your super chats. The universal super chat is quite frankly superchat.com. There is the Rumble rants I'd love to read through, your gold pills and all that. And let me just say, don't go away, because I have something I just want to say. For April, I'm looking to sell out the Polaroid tiers, where you get a Polaroid every month. I just took one with, I did a very special one for March. I have a special one for April I have in mind. We're going to be getting those out there too. But the Polaroid tiers on Patreon and Subscribestar, trying to sell those out. We got 6 open on Subscribestar, 6 open on Patreon. The first 8, and I'm looking for more copies, but the first 8 people that sign up for this, on top of a sample bag of coffee, sample bags of Keto Brainz, stickers, and we're trying to find a few other things that we're going to throw in there too. But the first 8 people to sign up for those Polaroid tiers are also going to get the last 8 copies of my band's album, right? 2017 album that we had actually printed, pressed, shrink wrapped, all that stuff. the Sky Goes On album. I found them. I was like, you know what? Who the hell am I going to give these to? I want to give them away. So the first 8 people that sign up for that is the Polaroid tiers on Patreon and Subscribestar. I'd love to get those filled in because I love just snapping them, writing your name on it and some other quirky little thing and sending them out. They're so fun. They're so easy. And they're really a lot of fun. I got 8 of those. Okay. And not only that, Keto Brainz got in touch with me and they said that if you, if any purchases that you make with Keto Brainz for this month, they're also going to be sending out a sample of, it's called Pluck seasoning, Pluck, Pluck seasoning. It's grass-fed beef organ meat seasoning, or organic spices and herbs and all that stuff. It has the Redmond sea salt in there that I use in my water and shit. But every order of Keto Brainz in the month of April is getting Pluck as well. And I'm going to let you know more that I'm going to throw in with the bags because it's my birthday month and I want to give more away to you guys to incentivize voluntary support of the show so that we can keep growing and keep competing, because it's hard to compete with all these big new media organizations out there. So we got to slap a saddle on ourselves and ride ourselves past the finish line. All right, guys and gals, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Guys, we're going camping! Yeah! I see you! I see you! Oh, shit! What is that? What is that?
Welcome to
The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 15 10 commandments.
Quite frankly, he's amazing.
Akira.
I can't tell you how good this Akira the Don mix is. It's called That Golden Sound Beat Tape. Came out, 2 weeks ago, it says? 22 minutes long. I must have listened to it at least 12 times. It's so good. And it's got some great, he goes and he samples some great songs too. I know that there's Sinatra's in there. Let me see. Here you go. It was a very good year. When I was 17. That's what I used to really gauge a human life on. The Sinatra scale. When I was 17, 21, 35, and then the days are short. But I don't like that. I don't like that now. Especially since I'm 5 years past 35. Days ain't getting short. Hell you talking about, Frank? What else is there? What else was in here? Hold on. There's another one. Wait. Just good stuff. Wait. Oh, there's Sting. He did Sting. I think this is Sting. Wait. Here it is. Wait. Listen. That's cool. Shape of My Heart from the Professional soundtrack. And then I think he does Exhibit at the end. Paparazzi by Exhibit. Where is it? Here, is this it? The last one? Oh yeah, here it is. It's good. It's good. Clean Vibes by Akira the Don. Really got to get him back into the mix of the show. Would love to cut away to him, mixing somewhere in Mexico or wherever the hell he lives. But good guy, and he does good work. Let's see. Over on quitefrankly.tv, on quitefranklysuperchat.com, Jay Britt says, TGIF, Frank. Hey, congratulations on Studio A news. I'm sure that's a load off. I like talking about my personal life with you guys to a degree because it's it's a release, and I like giving you guys a little bit of a reason to call it and sharing yourself, and I think that's really what makes for the good kind of radio spontaneity. It becomes authentic, and this is one of the things that's been going on behind the scenes this year that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot. I don't know, 2025 has been a little challenging, no doubt about it, but this was just unnecessary. And for now, it seems that things are safe, which actually gives me a little bit more reason to go and, as I said the other night, continue working on perfecting this space and making it more functional in the way that I wanted to contribute to things, not only on this show, but as I told Anthony too when we got the news, I said, all right, now listen, it's time, we got to stop fucking around. We have to do better brand overlap. We have to do some more specialty broadcast. Like those Saturday nights, it really shouldn't even be considered, quite frankly, I told him. I said, I'll stream on all my channels and whatever, but we got to bring in people that we know, and we got to start doing a lot of interesting stuff. Whether it's performance based, I've been talking to other producers of mine behind the scenes about what we can do to bring a little bit more of a physical performance end to the middle of the broadcast week, because we got a great balance, but we want to keep tinkering with that balance. And it takes a load off. It allows you to be a little bit more creative when you have assurances that you're going to be at least in one space for a while. So I was telling Aurora about that today. She wanted to bring all of her musical instruments up from the basement to go into the living room. I said, no. We're making that into a music room. We go down to the basement so we can practice our drums and all this other stuff. So it's good to have spaces that are specialized for certain things. It gets you in the mood to create. You got to be able to do that. And taking this place off the chopping block has been one of those good things. I still got to talk to you guys about the trademark issues I've had. I want to read you something so bad, but I'm just waiting for my lawyer to say, yeah, go ahead. Oh God. Oh, you have no clue how bad I want to read you this. The email that I received from this smarmy little twat. Oh, sweet. Stove Soup says, great Friday, Frank. Well, Stove Soup, thank you so much. And I hope that you enjoyed that little, I played Stove Soup, cheersing us. He's the one that did the Folgers coffee commercial. But for Frankly, he was the one singing that before. So thank you, Stove Soup. Thank you, Jay Britz. Let's go over to the Rumble to see how everybody's doing over there. Seems like everybody's doing fine. No rants to speak of. So on quitefrankly.tv, Stove Soup dropped the entire sleeve of Chips Ahoy cookies in there and C. Blanche with a can to wash it all down. Thank you so much, my friends. It's great to have you. Safety Net says, April showers bring May flowers, showers of blessings and love to you all. One love, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Love you. No, Frank, I need my 10-minute crazy story rambling time. Have mercy, Frank. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Cave Toad says, my last gold pills were to reference Roger Rabbit for it got cut out. By the way, happy birthday to you, you old fart, and this show sucks. Yeah, but what does it mean? I see the wheeze. I see the Roger Rabbit please, but I don't know what that means. Still, thank you. Okay, the lines are open, and here's also what is going to be open now, too. You all know 914-200-0269, but because it's the last evening, that I will be able to use this Skype number, or any Skype number, The hotline is open. It'll be a different hotline number next time you see it, 914-369-1236. This is the Crazy Story Hotline. You call in if you have a crazy story that you can get right to the point. If it's not a crazy story, then that's it. We got to move on. So 914-369-1236. Let's take a call from the regular open line first. 315, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, hello? What's up, Frank?
Hey now. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm just chilling. Just chilling.
Just chill. That's good.
Good.
So I got a pick for you. I got two stories. So it either could be an injury that happened to me when I was 5 years old, or what they call a great awakening, or when somebody wakes up out of the matrix. For me back in 2020. So what story do you want to hear?
A 5-year-old injury story or your great awakening story?
Yep.
Well, let's go with, I guess we'll go with the injury story. The fact that you're still talking about it all these years later, it must be interesting. Go ahead.
All right. So my nickname is Nine Toes.
What's your nickname? You're very muffled. Am I on speakerphone?
Hold on a second. I have a Bluetooth in. I'll take it out.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. All right, how's that?
Oh man, much better. Okay, so what's your nickname again?
Nine Toes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so here's my story. You want to hear about my injury? So 5 years old, my father, we had like almost an acre of land, and he'd make us mow the lawn, or he'd make us clean up the lawn, prior to him mowing the lawn, and what we would do, he had one of those old John Deere tractors. It had a ledge on the back, and we would ride on the back with it, on the back of the lawnmower with him. And as we're going through the lawn, he'd make us jump off in case there was something in the lawn. We had to go pick it up so we don't run it over. Well, being that young, we're like, oh, I'm cool. I can raise my hands up without holding on to the lawnmower. And, he decided to back up when I was doing that. And I fell off. I landed behind the lawnmower, and he didn't realize that I fell off the back of the lawnmower. And my foot went up underneath. He was backing over me. I screamed as loud as I could. He heard me, and he got off of that lawnmower. He picked it up off the side and threw it off of me. And he picked me up. He brought me to the house and carried me to the van, straight to the van. And he's like, "What?" He tells me, "Whatever you do not look down." So what is a 5-year-old going to do when you're told not to look down? You're going to look down, right? All I see is I look down and I see cut off shoe, and all I see is blood, and I see a piece of bone sticking out. I'm like, oh man. So he drives. He's probably doing 90 miles per hour down the highway. He leaves the baby in the crib, my brother, home alone, not even realizing it, and takes me to the emergency room. And long story short, that's why they call me Nine Toes. And the weird thing about it is growing up from 5 years old and not having that toe, all the toes on my right foot. So I lost a big toe, right?
Okay.
All those toes on my right foot, they compensated. They kind of grew bigger, and they curved over to compensate for that big toe. And so I never had a problem. I never had a problem with walking or running or having an imbalance at all.
Wow. How much did they take the remainder of the big toe off? Did they like level it out? Or
no, the the blade, it sheared the whole big toe off of the bone. Like the bone was still there, but it sheared that big toe right off. Just took it right off the bone.
So, but the bone was intact. It just took all of the meat and the muscle off.
Yep.
Holy shit! So then, when you got to the hospital, what did they do? Did they amputate the toe?
So what they did is they cut the bone off where it was cut off. They cut the bone off, and then they did a skin graft off of my hip.
Okay.
They took the skin off of my hip, did a skin graft on my foot, and when I got out of surgery and everything, I had like this big huge blood bubble on my hip, and I was in a cast obviously on my foot. So
Well, that's one hell of a story. 9 to well, yeah. Well, if it's my gosh, got run over by a lawnmower at 5 years old. Well, thank you, thank you for that. That's a crazy story. It came in on the wrong line, but it came in nonetheless. Thanks for the call, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
You too, sir. 9 toes. Don't ever let anything hold you back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, 1 toe lost, 2 toes lost. Don't let it hold you back. The Crazy Story Hotline is 914-369-1236. Call in if you have a crazy story. Denise, do you hear me? Oh, wait, hold on, Denise. The speakers have been muted, and I don't even know how. Wait, don't say anything yet. There we go. Okay, Denise, go ahead.
Okay, this is Denise.
Yes.
I wanted to tell you a story. I was 17, and I lived in a house, and it was another roommate, and it was a guy, and we had one great big room. So he lived on one side of the room, and I had my bedroom on the other side. And there was a huge drape that went from the floor to the ceiling. And I had gone to a party. I was 17. I had gone to a party with my friend. It was Christmas Eve. Came home, and I thought about looking under my bed because that was something I always thought about when I was young and kind of scared of, but I didn't. And so I got in my bed, and I had fallen asleep, and I woke up to somebody. There was a door right by my bed that went outside, and I woke up to a guy as he was turning around to my bed, and I thought, oh, my gosh. And he said, and I had on a long flannel nightgown, thank God, all the way down like a granny flannel. And he says, don't say a word. He says, I have a knife, and if you move or if you make a peep, I'll kill you. And then he went and he put one arm under my back and one arm underneath my legs. And I thought, well, if he has a knife, he can't do anything with it now. And so I tried to yell. I said, Robert! And I could barely say, and Robert, thank God, had woke up on the other side of the curtain and says, what the hell's going on over there? And the guy ran out the door, and Robert came running with a machete and went running out the door. He was going to go lop his head off, I guess. And then I heard a Volkswagen start up, and I thought, oh, my gosh. Then I knew who it was because I had just kind of seen his silhouette and saw his mustache and all. And there was a guy that had been wanting me to go out with him, and I kept just dogging him and saying, no, I didn't want to go out. And it was him. And he tried to kidnap me. I don't know what in the world he would have done if he would have gotten me out of there. But it was very frightening.
Wow.
So thinking about looking under the bed, I don't think he had been under my bed. But nevertheless, he was in my room, had opened the door. So the door was open and ready to take me out of there.
He was going to kidnap you. He put a arm under you. So he was essentially going to carry you out of there like Frankenstein.
Yeah. And as soon as he did that, as soon as he put one hand behind my back and one under my knees, thank God I had my granny flannel on, I thought, okay, if he has a knife, he can't do anything with it now, you know. And so I tried to yell, you know, and all I could do was just say Robert's name, and it was shaky and all. But it was enough to where he heard it on the other side of the curtain and came flying around and scared the heck out of him, and he got out of there.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those screams that you let out when you're inside of a dream, and you can't actually scream. So let me. I guess the only other question I can come up with right now is what happened after the fact. I mean, it seems like you put 2 and 2 together pretty quick. Did you file a police report? What happened?
Well, I told my dad and my brother because I knew where the guy lived, and my dad and my brother went up there and spoke to him, although he denied it. Well, I went and I pressed charges, and so the day that we were supposed to go to court, and Robert was going to go with me because it was his house, that I lived in, and they called before we were supposed to go to court that morning, and they said that they had settled out of court and had given him contributing to the delinquency of a minor is what they were getting him with. And I thought, what the hell is that? What's that about? I don't know. But anyway, he never tried to get me to go out with him again.
I mean, but you have a kidnapper on the loose. I mean, he was willing to do that to somebody who jilted him, or you didn't even jilt him. You just said no. It's not like you left him. It's not even like you said yes and then stood him up or something like that. That still would not be a reason to kidnap somebody. But geez, I mean, were you at part?
I thought it was pretty lax on their part for not doing anything about it. And then I had a girlfriend that I had gone to school with too, and she lived down the street from him, and she said that he was a peeping Tom, and she had told me after the fact, of this, that she had seen him peeking in neighbors' windows and whatnot. So he was a creeper.
Yeah, but Denise, were you at all? Were you in any part involved with the case against him? Like when I hear plea deal, I have to imagine. I think settle out of court. I'd have to imagine that he would be settling with the person he tried to kidnap. You weren't a part of this at all?
I don't understand what happened. I was 17 years old, so maybe they thought, whatever. And I didn't, I guess I was going to get a court-appointed attorney, and we were getting ready to go to court, and we never had to go to court. They called that morning. Who knows? Maybe that was a lie. Maybe now that I think about it at this very moment, maybe it was one of his friends or something that called and said, well, this is the lawyer, and we're settling out of court. I don't know. It was so weird, and it really pissed me off. And I had heard that he was on probation, so I went down to his probation officer and told him, what had happened, because I thought I don't want to just let this go. So anyway, I let his probation officer know that, he had been in my bedroom and tried to actually remove me from my room. And
well, not only that, but he threatened you with murder.
Yeah.
He threatened you.
He says, don't make a peep. He says, because I've got a knife and I'll kill you.
Okay, so I guess that there's going to be a lot of people wondering this too, because they want to put a timeline together. What year was this? And how old? And how old was he at the time?
He was, I think, 1 year ahead of me, and I was 17, so he would have been a senior. And he is. And what was the question?
What was the year?
The year I was born in 55 and I was 17. So what would that have been?
72-ish, 3-ish.
72.
Okay, so
it was Christmas Eve, so it was right before it was going to change, and I was going to turn 18 in January.
So this guy's probably about 74 years old right now, 75 years old, around that.
Well, I'm 70, so he would
72-ish
be probably
one.
71 or 72, something like that.
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know.
I wonder what kind of shit. Yeah, well, listen, you have to imagine somebody who's willing to do that at 17. How much they really reform their lives afterwards. I just wonder what kind of shit he's gotten himself into since then, and God knows what's on his computer.
Oh, yeah. And then the thing of it is me finding out afterwards that he had been a peeping Tom, that my girlfriend that I went to school with said, oh, yeah, I've seen him peeking in people's windows. He's a peeping Tom.
Wow.
So I don't have any idea what he would have done to me if he would have just had fun and then brought me back home. I didn't want to take a chance because I thought, my gosh, if he gets me out of here. And I had a puppy at the time, and he was on the bed, and I was trying to get him to make a noise or do something, but he was just a little puppy, and he didn't make any noise either. But thank God, Robert and I shared a room, and he had a curtain that went from the top to the bottom that was a heavy curtain, so it separated our room.
Yeah,
but it was enough to where he could hear me because, I could not yell. It was the most pathetic, crying out to him. But he heard me, and that was all I needed, and thank God. But
yeah,
it was a crazy time in my life, and I have always said since then, don't ever say never, that anything can't happen, because I've had some weird stuff happen in my life.
Well, I appreciate.
That's one of them, and that was the whole thing was under the bed.
I get you. I get you.
I used to think about that when I was a kid.
Well, there's not going to be the last time that I open up the Crazy Story Hotline, that's for sure, because this is nuts. But thanks for the call,
Okay,
Denise.
well, I may have another crazy story for you sometime.
Good. Start writing them all down and just wait until I call out for them, okay?
All righty.
Have a good
Love
one.
you, Frank, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, soak it up. A disgusting ring. It really is. She's talking about, I don't know if, maybe he wouldn't have. It doesn't matter if they actually went out on a date and he was a gentleman that first night. This is what he was capable of. Somewhere down the line, he's probably not going to do something very polite. And God knows what kind of a life he's lived since then. Let's take a call, shall we? 512, you're on the Crazy Story Hotline. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, Frank?
Who is it?
Turn that down. Sorry. It's Regal.
Regal. Go ahead, Regal.
Hey, okay, so my crazy story. 2002, I pull up to work at the Blockbuster Video.
Nice.
I do my morning routine and get irie, and I'm eating my, trash McDonald's breakfast.
Nice.
And usually I have like hash brown left over, and there's a little, a shade tree to the right of the store, because right next to it there's an empty laundromat, and there's usually a bum that hangs out over there. And whatever I don't finish, I go over there and I toss to him, right? So I walk over there, and to my surprise, there is a bum there, laid out, shirt open, mouth hanging open, just completely dead body,
Jeez.
So I'm like, holy shit, I'm too high for this. I go back to my car for a second and take another rip and then walk inside. And then I talk to my manager, Laura, who's there. And I'm like, dude, there's a dead body on the side of the store. And she starts cracking up immediately. She's like, shut up. You're playing around. And I'm like, no, dude, seriously, there's a dead body over there. So she's like, do we call 911? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not an emergency. He's already dead. So we had that debate for a second. And then I'm like, you know what? There's a H-E-B next door. That's a grocery chain here in Central Texas. So I was like, there's usually a cop over there. So let me walk over there and get him. So I'm walking over there, and in my head, I'm just like, what the hell am I going to say? What do I tell this guy? And as I'm walking up, he's talking to somebody else, and I guess he could just tell by the look on my face. Because at that point, I think I'm 20 years old, 21 years old. He walks up to me, and he's like, what's going on? What's wrong? And I was like, I think there's a dead body over here on the side of the Blockbuster. And he's like, all right, let's go check it out. Let's go check it out. So he starts walking with me, and like, mind you, when I went up to it, I was like, I could stick my foot out and, kick the dude if I wanted to, like tap him. And so I'm walking with this cop, and I'm like, I think he's dead. I'm not sure. I never seen a dead body before. And so we turn the corner, and we're from the sidewalk, like far. I'm talking probably like 30 feet away. And he's like, oh, yeah, that guy's dead. So he calls in backup. They put up the tape, and everything seemed normal until they started putting up the crime scene tape around me. I had a moment there where it kind of slowed down for a second, where it was a little surreal. And I was like, oh, shit. So anyways, I go back to work, and it turns out, I asked the cops, what's going on? What he died? Because, they send someone, like a grief counselor, to make sure I'm not traumatized or anything, to talk to me. And after, they give me the spiel, they're like, you have any questions? And I was like, what did he die of? You guys know what he died of? And they're like, oh, it's probably an overdose. So they told me that this was right after we went into Afghanistan, that they said that there was heroin that had hit the street that was a lot stronger than I guess the people were used to.
Oh.
So they were collecting bodies all over the city.
So you think it might have been some of that newly arrived Afghanistan opium.
I'm pretty certain that's what they alluded to, So
the poppies.
Yeah, that's my crazy story. And as an added bonus, to throw back to the Mr. Nine Toes over there, I'm a medical courier, and New Year's Eve, not this last New Year's Eve, but the previous one. I go to pick up a spot, and I'm talking to one of the security guards, and he told me that they brought a girl in who got her toe ripped off while riding a mechanical bull.
Oh, my gosh.
And so as I'm leaving, I'm like, did they find the toe? And he's like, no, I don't think they ever found the toe.
It's still
and
in the bull.
Well, they're going to have to put that bull down. It has a taste for human blood.
I know. It's still in the bull. That's it. It's in the stirrups. There's a toe in the stirrups. Yeah. It's like, what's it called? The Big Lebowski.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so be mindful of those mechanical bulls, ladies.
Regal.
Closed toe shoes.
First of all,
those are my crazy stories.
I gotta say, Regal, the dead body thing, I hate to giggle but it's just the way that you're delivering it, and knowing that you were just so high, and the fact that you found the body and then your first thought was, I need to take another rip. I would not, coming into contact with something like that high would actually inhibit me from smoking for months. I'd be like, no, I can't smoke again. I can't smoke again for
I had to assess the situation, so I had to take a moment for myself.
The fact that you had to the fact that you had to recharge is incredible to me.
Yeah.
Is that but listen, before you found the body and you were talking about it, the day that you were describing, being 19, 20 years old, whatever it is, just after 9/11, still that time in 2001, 2002, the fact that you were going to work at Blockbuster, to work in that environment, to be waking and baking and having a McDonald's, I don't know, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with a hash brown and whatever, that sounds like such an amazing morning.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was a great job, man. I'll tell you. I was assistant manager there, at a young age, and I would twist up 3 fatties, and I'd tell, my crew working with me, let's get all of this done, and then, I got 3 fatties. We'll take turns going in the back, and we'll put on a dope movie and just coast out the rest of the shift. It was amazing.
Well, I mean, crazy story, no doubt about it. To find dead body right there.
I was actually working there the morning of September 11th, and I was bright and early, rewinding all the tapes because we still had tapes. It hadn't gone completely to DVD yet, and I had the news on all the televisions inside the store, and I'll never forget it. A veteran came in, and he watched with me for a second, and then he tells me, don't ever join the military. Don't ever join the military. And I'm like, why not? And he said he had been to the first Gulf War. And he said when we went out there and the sirens would go off, it meant there was chemicals in the air. So we would suit up, put our gas masks on. And the way we'd be able to tell that everything was clear is we'd crack a flare. And it turned a certain color, everything was clear. He's like, but if we were uncertain after cracking that flare, he said lowest ranking man would be made to take his gas mask off. And he was pretty much the canary in the coal mine. If he survived, then all right, then we're all good.
Wow. There's a lot of cautionary tales with that. And thanks for the call, Regal. Whenever we do shows like this, I hope you call in more.
Oh, yes, sir, I will.
All right, take care.
I hate the show, but I love calling in.
Thank you. It's a pain in my ass as well. Holy shit. Yeah. Well, I remember that. My grandfather watching the everything going on September 11th. And he was just scared for us, Me and my friends are 17, going on 18. He's thinking about the draft. He's thinking about, what he went through with Pearl Harbor, what happened after that. But let's take a call. Another one. That was a good call. I like it. 702, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hey, who's this?
I'm here to wish you happy birthday, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. What's your name?
My name is David Miller.
David. And where are you from, David? You have a very distinguished accent.
Yes, I'm from San Jose, sir.
That's a San Jose accent?
In California?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm here to help you get a trading account opened, and I'll triple your profits in 3 days.
Oh,
sir.
good. How much do I need to put down?
Well, you have like Bitcoin, Ethereum. What do you have?
I have some cum rocket.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect, sir.
Okay.
So, what I need you to do is just relax, okay?
Okay.
I'm your trading account manager. What's up, dude? It's Brian.
What's going on, man? I thought you were going to take some cummies and turn it into $1 million for me.
Oh, man. That's been my most recent project is fucking with scammers, dude.
Well,
I got them.
I love those videos. I love those videos. And you have a very good... I thought you were going to say you're from Trinidad or something like that. It's like, damn, San Jose. Anyway, well, go ahead, Brian. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to hear from you too, sir. Anyways, happy birthday. How old are you now, you old fuck?
I'm 40.
No way.
Yeah, it's all over.
Bro, I'm 21, dude.
Oh, my God. You're going backwards. That's because of the industry you're in.
No. Right on, dude. Anyways, hope everything's good on the, the home front and et cetera, et cetera. The thing is crazy stories, and I've actually told you this one before, but not to your audience. It is about the whole pedophile thing and like those type of people, and remember, we're talking on Voxer, and like when I used to have my channel, like what I did and stuff, and it was the last time that I live in Las Vegas now, and my buddy, his name's Kayvon, and he's a big ass motherfucker, and like we rolled up to 7-Eleven, and I wasn't there. He started FaceTiming me. I'm like, why is this dude FaceTiming? I was like, why the guy FaceTiming me? Stop that. Anyways, there is a dude out front yelling and coming over to his car, and he's like, dude, look at this. And this guy comes up to his window, and he's like, this fucking guy over here is asking my 10-year-old little brother to rub his feet, etc., and all this stuff. I don't know if you remember the story or not.
I think I remember it. I think I remember it.
So he gave on is he's a father and stuff as well, like you and I are, and he was like, nope. And he steps out, and he's a big dude and scary, and he's like, hey, dude. He's like, what are you doing over here? Like blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And this guy's like, no, I wasn't doing anything. He goes, yo, here's the deal. Give me your fucking ID right now. Right now. And the dude is so scared. He gives him his ID, and he goes, all right, where's your car? And he's like, no, I'm sure. He goes, no, where's your car? He goes, take me to your car now. And I'm not joking. And again, he's on FaceTime with me. And I was screen recording it too, because obviously if it's a pedophile trying to rub a 10-year-old's feet, I'm going to try to have evidence of, whatever happens. And he walks over to this dude's car, and no joke, white pedo van, blacked out windows. And they open the door. This dude has a bunch of like little stuffed animals, a bunch of, little toys and stuff. And this guy just looks like a creep.
So what?
Right?
Now I forget how this ends. Let's just. I want to be able to. I want to get people right to the conclusion here.
Yeah.
What exactly? What do you do in that situation? I know that you're all covering your asses now, and you have evidence of a proposition that was made to a minor, and now you see how this guy is living and operating inside this creepy stereotypical van. What do you do at that point?
So what we did was he took his ID, and he came over to my house like the next day, and we looked up his address, and I went on there, and it was a phony, like, his address on his driver's license was a phony, like some random office for like selling goods or something, you know, like it was total BS. And I got the dude's number, and we ended up calling him, and we just scared the shit out of him. We told him, we're like, dude, you know, be careful. We're going to show up at your doorstep one day. And then, but what we did in the end actually make some type of difference. We just turned all that over to the North Las Vegas PD, because Las Vegas and then there's North Vegas is two different departments.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's crazy the amount of people that are out there. It's just like, you know, when I used to stream, when Mr. Gunk was a streamer that came into the community with me and Jamie Deluxe, trying to expose pedophiles during the whole Pizzagate and thing like that, ended up that we had people send us stuff showing that he was talking to a 15-year-old girl trying to bang her, screenshots, everything. It's just, they're everywhere, man. They're everywhere. Now, I don't want to sound like someone who's like, everyone is a pedophile. No, that's not the case. But the amount that is increasing is it's not fucking cool, dude.
You know,
at all.
And because this could be a subject for an entire night unto itself. So I guess the last thing I would say is the biggest quandary I see that pops up around this, because as you know, there are big channels and there are big personalities of people who turn this into regular content where they are going out, they're on the internet and they're trying to get people to commit to meeting up, and then they go and they put them on blast in the middle of a grocery store or something like that, and then inevitably somebody's punching this person in the face that they have convinced to come out to meet what they thought was going to be a minor or whatever, but it becomes violent. And then there's so many different aspects to this where, yeah, perhaps people are getting some itches scratched to see, predators becoming prey for a little while there. But from a legal aspect, does it make anything better when you have these social media operations that are set up to make spectacles out of this stuff? Does it actually get in the way of putting people behind bars? That's what I wonder, because it's like what we were talking about, the whole true crime thing. People can actually sleuth their way into finding actionable intelligence that may actually solve a crime, but mishandling of evidence and everything along the way can screw things up worse than it can help sometimes.
Yeah, no, and I'll let you go here, but it's like that's what you brought up to me, and like what I said when we were talking was, well, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to stop anyone from laying down some fucking whatever it may be, retribution and punishment. Like there's no especially being a father, there's no like whatever. However, my issue with people doing that stuff, it's for them. It's I get it. They probably do want to help, but there is also some part of a self-fulfillment, self-gratification, especially it's all, donate to my Patreon and do this, when it's like, no, man, because what you do is exactly what I did with Mr. Gunk. And then the train guy, he was prosecuted in Texas, actually, for child pornography. And we were able to get that done. You call the authorities and you hand over the information. And, a lot of people talking about stuff, it's like, you can talk about stuff as much as you want, but unless you have stuff in black and white and in writing and proof and things of that nature, it's not going to do anything, So I do have somewhat of a disdain for people that are doing this for there should be no self-gratification in the way other than saving those children.
I get you.
I mean, that's all I have to say about it.
Well, no, it's a good point. And going and back to your original story, that's a crazy thing to be a part of, especially, that's a lot of restraint there with your buddy, because most people that could have just added, that could have ended in a very, very bloody way. But thanks for calling in, Brian. It's good to hear from you.
Yes, sir. And by the way, hit me up on Voxer. We'll get your trading account started, sir. Triple the profit for your birthday, I promise.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I need something to pad my retirement over here. Let's do it. 8:45. Let's see. 8:45. We're moving along. 985. 985. What's your name?
It's Kelly.
Kelly. Okay, Kelly. We are losing
crazy stories.
Yeah, we're losing time now, and we had a couple of long ones there, so I want to try to keep it a little
short.
Okay, go ahead.
I love you. Happy birthday late.
Thank you,
I got
Kelly.
my coffee mug, and it's awesome. And when I was maybe in my early 20s in the 80s, I was riding around getting high with my friend Christine in Algiers, and we saw a lot of police cars and fire trucks and ambulances. So we go run and park to go see. We thought it was a car that had gone in a ditch, and they were scooping out a dead body.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So we got back in the car and went and got high some more.
I'll tell you, that's the worst. I've seen going past a couple of fatal accidents on the highway, and it's just something that leaves you sick for a day or whatever. You're just praying. You don't even know who to pray for. It's just
exactly.
Nuts.
Just say prayers.
Yeah.
And whenever I see like emergency vehicles, my first mother-in-law, taught me to always say a prayer for the first responders to protect them and keep them safe. So that's what I do. Get on with some more phone calls. This has been an awesome night. We love you.
Well, Kelly,
bye.
Thank you. And and so good to see all. I mean, I think what was it? Sarah sent me a video of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys with your mugs. You guys are fantastic. Thank you both.
You are too. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. Oh, you know what? So, like I said, soak it up. All right, let's do 321. 321, you hear me?
Holy cow. Frank?
Who's this?
Patrick.
Patrick, go ahead. You got a small window of time for a crazy story. Go.
Okay, welcome to Badlands, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I don't know, maybe I can lighten this up a little bit, these crazy stories, but 18 years old, girlfriend 17, for a year, broke up with her. Her mother's a bartender, right? And anyway, went home with her mother after I broke up with that. And crazy thing is, oh my God, she went downstairs because my ex was up, and in the morning, and then the door creaked open, and I kind of hid under the covers, and then I felt something bounce on me, and I looked up, and it was a little damn chihuahua, and it just kept barking and barking and barking. So I hid under her again while I was trying to get rid of the dog, and then I heard my ex running up to get the dog, and she came in the room, and I just stayed under the covers. And I don't think she ever found out about it. But anyway, she apologized, grabbed the dog, and left. And I don't know. That's my crazy story.
Okay,
I got a few.
No. That's all we need, Patrick. That was insane.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. I can't. Patrick's called into the show a lot. I would have never, ever taken him for a guy that would be able to pull that off. I can't believe that. I can't. Listen, I can't. You guys have heard Patrick call in how many times? He's 18 years old, breaks up with a 17-year-old girlfriend, goes to a bar that the girlfriend's mother hangs out with, and ends up taking her home to her house where the girlfriend lives. The mother's the one with the problem here. 18-year-old guy looking for a cougar. Listen, you got an opportunity. I mean, there's very few of us that are going to be like, nah, but this is crazy. Wow. So she goes and takes the new ex-boyfriend to her daughter home in the house. And it even gets to the point where the chihuahua goes upstairs and jumps on top of it. And the girlfriend comes in and reclaims the chihuahua off of the lump that is on the bed that is actually her ex-boyfriend. I can't believe it. I can't believe that was Patrick. I don't know what the hell I just listened to. 330, go ahead.
Hi, Frank.
Yes, who's this?
Hi, my name's Susan.
Susan, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. I'm turning my TV down. Hey, I have a quick meteor story for you.
A meteor story?
Yeah, about 1985, I was out in my yard having a fire with my dogs, and there was a tree line about an acre, trees all the way around, light out, not dark yet, getting dark. Well, all the sun went away. All of a sudden, I heard this big, loud burning over my fire. And I looked up in the air because the sun went away. It was a huge rock with holes in it, with fire shooting out of it. And it was just gliding across this. I ran the house because that scared me. And the first thing I thought was to grab my 35 millimeter camera. And I ran back out in the yard. And it was gone, so I ran to the neighbor's yard, and I got a picture of it. It was in the west. I did get a picture, and I had to take it in and get it developed. It was on a 35 millimeter camera.
Oh, wait a
sent it
second.
to Dick Goddard.
Wait a second, Susan. Hold on a second. You said that you're home, and you heard this kind of soaring, whooshing sound coming from the sky that was so
fire burning.
Okay, right?
Like fire.
Okay, hold on. I need to get all this out.
Okay.
So you have this. You called it a meteor story. So it's just something that's in the sky. It is loud enough to overpower the burning fire you had in your house and all that stuff. You go outside and you see this pass overhead. You know, if any of us see a shooting star or a meteor or something else like that, that is a very instantaneous, it's shot across the sky, it's gone. But you're talking about seeing something in the sky that's traveling there, and you have enough time to go inside and retrieve a camera and come back out, and it's still in the air?
Yes, but it was really far away. And the sun was going down, and the light meter said I didn't have enough light, but it came out.
But it doesn't make any sense. It has to be something that's being piloted then. It can't be in the air that long and be a meteor.
Well, it was burning fire, and it was a rock with big holes with fire shooting out of the holes.
So you
like a meteor. That's what a meteor looks like to me. I don't know what it was.
So you saw enough of it to know that this was almost an irregularly shaped rock with it almost looks like flying piece of pumice stone, and there's sparks flying out of it. Fire, trails of fire, bigger than my fire pit fire. I'm talking, this thing was bigger than my house. It put shade on the whole acre of land. And after I got the picture, I called the airport because I live up by Akron-Canton Airport in Ohio. And they told me they didn't have anything on radar. And I said, you have to have that on radar, man. I could hear it. It wouldn't look close to me, very close. But it was just going, it wasn't falling straight down. Right.
It was going across the sky.
Okay. And then you ran inside, you grabbed your camera, you ran out, then you said you went to a neighbor's yard, right?
Yeah, I had to go across my whole yard driveway into the middle of their acre of their yard to get it over their house. I could still see it.
And from there, you looked, it was still airborne and it was still traveling.
Yes, in about 1985.
And you were sober. You were totally sober?
No, I was drinking, and that's what the airport said to me. Are you drunk? I said, well, yeah, but I have a picture to prove it. So I sent the picture to Dick Goddard on the news channel, the woolly bear dude, the weather, and the self-addressed stamped envelope because I wanted the picture back. I mean, I had the negative, but he kept it and never did send it back.
Of course, he didn't send the negative back. I want to see this thing. But
no, I have the negative.
Oh, well, then you got to get it developed again, and then send it over to us. You have to.
I don't even know where it's at. I've moved so many times.
All right.
I've had so much of my stuff destroyed in floods and.
I get you.
But I talked to a girl I work with later at Longaberger Baskets, and she lives way south from me, and she was looking north because she was on her porch, and she saw it too. She said, "I saw that big thing in the sky I said, well, it was right above my house. So I had somebody else that saw it too.
There's 2 eyewitnesses. Well, I appreciate it. Maybe somebody hears this, they
I'm
saw the same
shaking.
thing, and they get in touch with us, and maybe we can get some more corroboration here. But thank you for the call. Thank you for the
I'm
call.
shaking just thinking about it because it did scare me. It really did.
It sounds like a very big experience, and again, it's very anomalous because. And thank you for the call. There's anybody who's seen a meteorite or a meteor shower. You've just been outside when the Perseids are moving around a little bit. When you catch sight of one, it's zip, zip. Sometimes those fireballs, they'll, what's that girl that caught the fireball on, it was an incredible shot. I think it was in 2024. Incredible fireball footage. Let me see. She has to pop up first. She must. Fireball girl overhead. Let's see. There she is. All right, look at this. Girl captured the best video of meteor in Portugal. I believe this is last, I don't know, this might have been last year or something. You guys remember this? Did anybody else see this? Hold on. There, I want to make sure it's full screen. Watch this stuff. So she's looking at the camera. All of a sudden, she looks over the sky. Fireball, look at this. Right over. And then gone. Even that, I mean, it leaves a little bit of a trail behind, and she's, of course, flabbergasted. If you ever seen a fireball, you know that's, it could be 5-7 second experience there. But what our last caller is talking about is a little bit different. It's a lot different. A lot different. All right, so here's what we have going on. That was the end of the line. Man, the Crazy Story line. Crazy Story Hotline. This is coming back. This is definitely coming back. And unfortunately, that's where we have to leave it. This is where we have to leave it tonight. And you know what? For all the problems we've had, Skype, go fuck yourself. That's all I've got to say. Thank you so much, and go fuck yourself. Tonight after the show, on Quite Frankly.tv, to kick off the weekend, here's what we have for the after hours. 10-second songs. Anthony, a little update from Anthony. BCP, smoking gun. Justice Roberts is part of the deep state anti-Trump operation. Tucker Carlson interviews Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Michael Savage, Tesla terrorist threatens Savage. Help us find him. Jubilee, Dr. Mike versus 20 anti-vaxxers. And George Norrie with Lisa Barnett. The Akashic records and soul contracts. Our last caller might have seen Ezekiel. So, I don't know. There's one last thing I'd like to do. Just to remind you all, on April 21st is our next film club. That's another reason to become a sponsor of the show at any level. At any level, anywhere. QuiteFrankly.tv, the sponsor us section, or below in the description below. Would love to have you in. You have until Monday, April 21st at 9 p.m. to watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Rear Window, or Rear Window. Jimmy Stewart. It's going to be a good one. Really, really great one. I can't wait to do this one with you guys. With that, there is something else I'd like to do right now. And that is just leave you with a few, what is it? What the hell is it? There is a story this time every year that I like taking the opportunity to read because it's opening week in baseball, and I got to go to the game with my mother and my daughter and my wife. It was really nice. My first baseball game, I went with my mother and my grandmother. And the fact that I got to bring my mother back with my daughter and, of course, my wife. And for Aurora's first time at Yankee Stadium, with my mom being the grandma now. I like stuff like that. And it's very important, and things like baseball, especially in the United States, very important for people. And I always say it's more than just a game, and there's a lot of life lessons that can be taught through learning the game too. But I like this story, and it's a story that's nearly 30 years old now, and I love bringing it back up on or around opening day. And it took place in Nashville in Tennessee during the first week of January 1996, where more than 4,000 baseball coaches descended upon the Opryland Hotel for the 52nd annual, at the time, ABCA convention. That's what baseball. And all these coaches. So here's what we got. This is a telling of the story. While I waited in line to register with the hotel staff, I heard other more veteran coaches than I rumbling about the lineup of speakers scheduled to present during the weekend. One name kept resurfacing, always with the same sentiment. John Scolinos is here? Oh man, worth every penny of my airfare. Who is John Scolinos? I wondered. No matter, I was just happy to be there. In 1996, John Scolinos was 78 years old, 5 years retired from college coaching career that began in 1948. He shuffled to the stage to an impressive standing ovation, wearing dark polyester pants, a light blue shirt, and a string around his neck from which hung home plate. A full-sized, stark white home plate hung around his neck like it was a necklace. Seriously, I wondered, who is this guy? After speaking for 25 minutes, not once mentioning the prop hanging around his neck, Coach Scolinos appeared to notice the snickering among some of the coaches. Even those who knew Coach Scolinos had to wonder exactly where he was going with this, or if he had simply forgotten about home plate since he had gotten on the stage. And then finally he said, quote, "You're all probably wondering why I'm wearing home plate around my neck," he said, his voice growing irascible. I laughed along with the others, acknowledging the possibility. I may be old, but I'm not crazy. The reason I stand before you today is to share with you baseball, you baseball people, what I've learned in my life, what I've learned about home plate in my 78 years. Several hands went up when Scolinos asked how many Little League coaches were in the room. Do you know how wide home plate is in Little League? After a pause, someone offered 17 inches. More of a question than an answer. That's right, he said. How about Babe Ruth? Any Babe Ruth coaches in the house? That's like 13 to 15. Another long pause. 17 inches? A guess from another reluctant coach. That's right, said Scolinos. Now, how many high school coaches do we have in the room? Hundreds of hands shot up. How wide is home plate? 17 inches. College coaches? 17 inches. Any minor league coaches? How wide is it in pro ball? 17 inches. Right, and in the major leagues, how wide is home plate in the major leagues? 17 inches. 17 inches, he confirmed, his voice bellowing off the walls. And what do they do with a big league pitcher who can't throw the ball over 17 inches? And there was a pause. They send him to Pocatello, he hollered. It's probably just a lower level, or down the road he goes. Everybody's laughing now. What they don't do is this. They don't say, so it's okay, Jimmy. If you can't hit a 17-inch target, it's all right. We'll make it 18 inches or 19 inches. We'll make it 20 inches so that you can have a better chance of hitting it. If you can't hit that, let us know so that we can make it wider still. Say 25 inches. And there's a pause. Coaches, what do we do when your best player shows up to practice late? Or when our team rules forbid facial hair and a guy shows up unshaven? What if he gets caught drinking? Do we hold him accountable, or do we change the rules to fit him? Do we widen home plate? The chuckles gradually faded as 4,000 coaches grew quiet, the fog lifting as the old coach's message began to unfold. He turned the plate toward himself and, using a Sharpie, began to draw something. He then turned it toward the crowd, point up, and a house was revealed, complete with a freshly drawn door and 2 windows. This is the problem in our homes today, with our marriages, with the way we parent our kids, with our discipline. We don't teach accountability to our kids. There's no consequence for failing to meet standards. We just widen the plate. Then there was a pause. Then, to the point at the top of the house, he added a small American flag. He said, "This is the problem in our schools today. The quality of our education is going downhill fast, and teachers have been stripped of tools that they need to succeed. And to be not only successful, but also to educate and discipline our young people. We are allowing others to widen home plate. Where is that getting us? There's more silence. He replaced the flag with a cross. And this is the problem in the church, where powerful people in positions of authority have taken advantage of young children, only to have such an atrocity swept under the rug for years. Our church leaders are widening home plate for themselves, and we allow it. And the same is true with our government. Our so-called representatives make rules for us that don't apply to themselves. They take bribes from lobbyists in foreign countries. They no longer serve us, and we allow them to widen home plate. We see our country falling into a darkened abyss while we watch. Now, I was amazed at the baseball convention where I expected to learn something about curveballs and bunting and how to run better practices. I had learned something far more valuable. From an old man with a home plate strung around his neck, I had learned something about life, about myself, about my own weaknesses, and about my responsibilities as a leader. I had to hold myself and others accountable to that which I knew to be right, lest our families, our faith, and our society continue to go down an undesirable path. If I'm lucky, Coach Scolinos concluded, you will remember one thing from this old coach today. It's this. If we fail to hold ourselves to a higher standard, a standard of what we know to be right, if we fail to hold our spouses and our children to the same standards, if we are unwilling or unable to provide a consequence when they do not meet that standard, and if our schools and churches and our government fail to hold themselves accountable to those that they serve, there is but one thing to look forward to. With that, he held home plate in front of his chest, turned it around, and revealed its dark black backside. We have dark days ahead. Coach Scolinos died in 2009 at the age of 91. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the after hours. Thank you to Stove and everybody over there on Pilled. Let me just make sure that there's one from Cody 117 on Rumble. Thank you so much. I'll get that to you after the show, my friend. And with that, don't rub another man's rhubarb, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you on Monday. Should be a good one. Thank you for a wonderful week, and thank you for all the birthday wishes. Become a sponsor. If you love the show, if you can't go without it, if the show going away would hurt you terribly, then sponsor it for even just $5 a month. And I promise you, I will more than septuple that value in what you get back. I promise. It's all coming from love. All right. Good night. Take care.
I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, folks. Bye-bye. Bye.